So Ant-Man Quantumania is finally out in theaters, and fans all around the MCU are able to go see it globally. And I was very much excited to go see this film. I thought there was a lot of good things about this movie that were, building up. The build up to Kang Dynasty, the build up to the Secret Wars, the build up to the Multiverse war that was coming. There was a bunch of hype for this movie, but I was going to be honest with you. Now, I did like the movie. There were parts about the movie that I really enjoyed, especially the build up between Scott and his daughter. I thought that part was pretty sweet. But let's go ahead and talk more about the characters of this movie. Also, before I head off further in this review, big spoilers for this movie if you haven't seen it just yet, so click away or click ahead to my final thoughts on the movie. Let's start with Scott Lang. Paul Rudd brings that charm to the movie regardless, so I think in this movie, despite the script, I think Paul Rudd still does a good job. I'm not sure how many movies are left for him, but I don't think the MCU's done with him just yet. As for Hope Van Dyne, I'm not sure. There was a lot of controversy in the years past with Evangeline Lilly. I don't think they're going to get rid of her, especially after the backlash that they got after cutting Gina Carano from the Mandalorian series. I think Marvel Studios is going to avoid a lot of that drama, a lot of that problems, and moving forward, I expect to see both Ant-Man and Hope in the Avengers Kang Dynasty. As for Cassie Lang, played by Catherine Newton, and it's her debut in the MCU, I thought it was kind of wooden. I like her. She does a good job on screen. I think she has a great smile and a great, future in the MCU. I think the script kind of left her character a little too simplistic, not too much to do. The film could have added much more layers to her character, and I think that goes back into the script. A weakness for me was Hank Pym. I did enjoy Hank in this movie, and you could tell that Michael Douglas is not really into the role much anymore. You can tell him in his red carpet interviews, he's kind of done with the role already, but I'd still like seeing him on screen. It's Michael Douglas. You enjoy seeing him, but I think the script didn't leave him enough to do. I think the whole storyline with the ants near the end, I think it was a bit rushed. You could have introduced that very much early on in the movie. Michelle Pfeiffer was back again as Janet Van Dyne. I think she did okay in the role. Michelle Pfeiffer is an okay actor. She does do a good job in the role. I think she blends with the world pretty well. The storyline between her and Kang towards the very beginning, I thought that was decent as well. But let's go ahead and talk about the biggest thing that I did like about the film, and that's of course Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors brought in the fire, Jonathan Majors brought in the energy. I really enjoyed seeing every scene that he was in. I think whenever you have Kang on screen, he has this menacing force to him, and you just really can't avoid escaping his wrath or escaping his influence in this world, especially within the quantum realm, because he's made himself out to be such a conqueror and such a stomper on little people and smaller individuals. And that's something that I kind of wish the movie explored a little bit more. There's the dynamics between, forgetting the little guy or remembering the little guy. And Ant-Man was all about remembering the little guy. So I think they missed a huge opportunity on that on the script. But I think when they came down to Kang, they got the character right. And most of all, I think Jonathan Majors will kill it in the role moving forward as well. I'm very much optimistic and really looking forward to the different variants that we might get in the future. The Ramen Tuts, the Immortuses. Let's go ahead and talk quickly about MODOK, who was also Yellow Jacket, aka Darren Cross. Darren Cross, of course, was the main antagonist of the first Ant-Man movie. Him and Scott Lang had a huge beef towards the very end of the movie, which led to their ultimate battle. Cassie Lang even remembers him because, he was there whenever she was a child, and they had that final fight. His story arc in this film, I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent. It was one of the things that was not really offensive. A lot of people were bringing up comparisons to the George Lopez thing from Spy Kids. That didn't bother me as much as I thought it would, because he has that mask on, and it's quite menacing when you look at his weapons and you look at the kind of interactions he has with other characters. So Jeff Lundness wrote the script, and I covered a couple videos back on his interview, and I think unfortunately for him, he was focused too much on Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, and he kind of drew his attention away from Quantumania. And as far as the characters outside of Kang, a lot of it felt like it was left to improv with Paul Rudd and with Hope Van Dyne, especially with those two characters. And bringing in Bill Murray, I thought it's kind of a waste. You only had him in for one scene, and even though he was a big name tease for the film, and I'm sure fans were expecting a bigger role for him in this movie. I, like most fans, felt like I was watching an Avengers trailer because, the whole time we were like, all right, let's get to where Kang's coming up from, the quantum realm, and let's see what he does out of the quantum realm. And I was more interested in that outcome rather than the overall outcome of this movie, even though the danger level was at an all-time high for everybody. I thought the very beginning and the middle point were a little too slow. Once we got to the quantum realm, things were picking up, and then they slowed down a bit. I think there's a lot of pacing issues when it came down to this movie, because it was very quick and then very slow and then very quick. A lot of stuff was happening, but it felt like a lot was not. Very Star Wars prequel-like. I thought the dwellers within the quantum realm also was you could have done a little bit without it. I think if you just limited the roles and if you limited the story and the scope of the story in this movie between Scott Lang and Kang, you would have had something much more easy to get across, and something that's much more grounded. in terms of a story. At the end of the day, it felt more like a preview to an Avengers Kang Dynasty film, especially the ending of the film where Scott Lang was kind of questioning himself, saying, is this really over? Did we really beat him? When in actuality, you really didn't beat him. The movie did conclude as predicted as from the leaks with this variant of Kang's demise. Pretty much, I think it's pretty much confirmed that this variant of Kang is officially gone, because in the post-credit scenes they said that this Kang met his demise and they wanted to get rid of him, and he's officially gone now. But they're also worried about, the Avengers and the heroes of Earth kind of messing with them and their other plans. There is a multiverse set up in this movie, obviously, with the threat of other Kangs and the Council of Kangs at the very end of the post-credits scene, so I'm very much fascinated to see where they go in the direction for Kang the Conqueror. Tons of variants that have shown up near the end of the credit scene, so I have no idea what kind of variant we're going to see next, after, of course, Loki Season 2. But director Peyton Reed, I thought that he did a decent job getting the good performances that he wanted. The performances that we got were good. Other than Catherine Newton, I thought Catherine Newton unfortunately did not get a strong script. I think she could have done a much better job with the better script. There was a lack of strength with the screenplay, and I think Peyton Reed honestly did his best, but when you're directing a movie in front of tons of green screens and blue screens, it's hard to direct. It's hard to direct where your talent's going to be looking at. It's hard to direct where your talent is going to be talking to. It just makes the final project look a little more muddled. It makes the project look not realistic, basically. And it felt very Spy Kids and Star Wars prequel-like. When we've had movies like Avatar: The Way of Water, we've had movies, push the boundaries and really push the limitations of technology when it comes down to special effects. And I know Marvel has a problem with their CG artists, so they honestly have to get that situated pronto, because Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars, you don't want to see special effects come out like this, because fans are not going to be impressed. Video timeout. Thanks for dropping by and leaving a like for this video. If you haven't left a comment, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Subscribe for more videos and click that bell to get notified every time I upload a video. So I'm gonna have to give this film a final rating, and I'm not too thrilled to do it because it's going to be a very low rating. I'm gonna have to give this film a solid 6 out of 10. Unfortunately, there was a lot left to be desired. I loved Kang. I think Kang alone gave this thing 3 points because of Jonathan Majors' performance alone. I thought his variant at the very end too was, hinting towards something bigger, and I was just getting more excited about the potential and the future of Kang rather than this film in general. They have to go with these projects one by one with care, because if fans start losing interest, if fans start thinking this is not really worth anything, then by the time Secret Wars and Avengers Kang Dynasty hits, you're not going to have that big endgame reaction that we got back in 2019. You have to build the fans towards something that's, worthwhile and something that's worth following. And I think, having that big threat of Kang and the Avengers, that's great, but you have to have a good movie first. I think Marvel Studios is going to have to buckle up a little bit, and they've already done that, limiting their projects coming out each year to 2 movies, possibly 2 shows every year. I think that's a good direction to go with. I think that they need to do a lot of, changes to with their CG artists, because it's not good. I think these directors that they get also have to push themselves and push the elements of these characters and these actors, because you need to create something unique. And I think with something like Deadpool, you're getting something unique. You're getting something that's a passion project from somebody. And with Ant-Man Quantumania, I didn't really get that. So that's why I give it a 6 out of 10. But let me know what you guys thought about this movie. I know there's a lot of Easter eggs in this film, and I know there's a lot of excitement built for Kang. I'm excited for Kang, but I just thought that the film didn't really deliver my expectations. So drop your own rating down in the comment section below. Let me know where you think this ranks in the MCU, Phase 5, Phase 4, overall multiverse saga, storyline, and movie in general. Drop all those comments down below. You made it to the end of the video. Thanks again for watching, and again, if you haven't hit the like button, please click it right now and subscribe, and check out some more videos clips on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.